If you're like me, which I hope you're not because that would suck, but if you're like me, that means you have very, very heavy, debilitating periods, and your periods pretty much interfere with your life, and it is a thing. Your life revolves around your periods, and if you're like me, you cannot seem to go a month without talking about your period, because it is that much of a thing. There are some people that have periods where their period is not a thing. They don't feel the need to talk about it or spread awareness about the horrible, debilitating symptoms and reproductive disorders they might have. Good for them, but for me, my period is a thing. It is a thing that interferes with my life, and therefore I am always talking about it, and I have had to advocate for myself in front of a bunch of doctors. I have had to get second and third and fourth opinions. I have had to do my own research. I have had to get very, very comfortable with talking about periods. And that is why I decided to make a period underwear review video that actually goes into the nitty-gritty details. A lot of period underwear videos don't really go into the details. They just sit there and they're like, oh yeah, this was great, blah, blah, blah. No. I'm going to show you the underwear on my butt, and I'm going to show you what I like and what I don't like, and that includes where it leaks. Yes, you will see blood. It's not going to be a lot, but I am going to show you where it leaks and seeps through on the seams of the underwear right next to my crotch. Because number one, I don't care. I have no shame. Who cares? It's not much different than if you were wearing a bathing suit. And number two, I really think we should normalize periods, okay? About half of the population has to deal with periods, and yet we all gotta keep it some kind of secret, like it's something we shouldn't be doing or shouldn't be talking about. We need to get over this period taboo. We gotta get over it. This should be just as normal and just as acceptable as sneezing, as blowing your nose, as going to the bathroom to take a pee. This should be just as normal as eating, as sleeping. This is normal, and we need to stop treating it like it's an icky, scary thing that we shouldn't be looking at. So here's your content warning. This video contains graphic descriptions of menstrual blood. This video will show underwear on a real body. That means you will be seeing things like cellulite, scars, stretch marks, acne, body hair, a little bit of bloating. If you are uncomfortable with these topics, you do not have to watch this video. This video is for educational purposes only, and I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not forcing you to be here. And while we're at it, period shaming and body shaming comments will immediately be deleted and you will be blocked. So for this video, the brand I am reviewing is Joyja, or Joyja, Hoija. I really don't know if another language influences the name of this product, you know how in Spanish the J's are like H's, so it would be like Hoija. I don't know. I'm just going to assume it's Joyja, with the J sound like we say in America, but again, I don't know. There might be another language or another cultural influence on the name of this product. I don't know. I didn't read that far into it. I settled on this brand for two reasons. Number one, they're pretty. So I like the colors and I like the patterns, but number two, all of the other period underwear products I looked at recommended using that underwear as a form of backup. So it was like, oh, you should wear a cup or you should wear a tampon with these. And I was like, I don't want to, because I don't like cups and tampons. I don't like to insert anything. I have endometriosis and I have a lot of adhesions and inflammation and scar tissue and just pelvic pain. So when I'm bleeding, the last thing I want to do is stick something up there. Any penetration is just uncomfortable and painful, and I don't care if it's a tampon or whatever. I don't want to. I mean, if it were up to me, I would just free bleed, but that would get kind of messy. So I figured period underwear is the next best thing, but I needed a period underwear that could be used alone, that did not need a form of backup. And Joyja seemed to be the only brand that claimed that you could wear them just alone, just period underwear as it is. You did not necessarily need backup. And I do have reusable washable cloth pads, which I can make another video about at some other time. I ordered 5 pairs from Joyja. I got 2 moderate flow pairs and I got 3 heavy flow pairs. I don't suggest wearing a pair of period underwear for a full 24 hours, so I figured somewhere in between these days or towards the end when I'm tapering off the bleeding, I would do something with the reusable pads. So realistically, if I wanted to only use period underwear throughout my whole period, not only would I need to account for 2 more days, but I would say you would probably need 2 to 3 pairs per day. Between 14 to 20 pairs if you wanted to only do period underwear. Right now I only have 5. I do like the Georgia period underwear enough to buy more, but there are some things I need to keep in mind when I make my next purchase, and these are things that I want to share with you so you can figure out which period underwear is best for you, if at all. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm gonna show you my butt. First up is the Alice Bikini. I got it in blue, and right off the bat I have a problem with it because the lining down there is pretty low. I am actually leaking above this seam. Like, this seam barely comes up to the mons pubis, so if you're a belly sleeper, you are going to be leaking above the seam. This is not great, and at first I thought, oh, maybe it's just moisture, but I grab a little bit of toilet paper and I wipe the stain, and it is not just water. There is actual blood leaking through this underwear. This is a moderate absorbency pair, and my flow actually was pretty heavy. You can't see the seam very clearly. In the next pair, you'll be able to see it more clearly, but if they could just raise this up a little bit more so that it doesn't spill out every time I lean forward or sleep on my belly, that would be a huge improvement. Next up is the Amelia High Waist. This is for a heavy flow. I got it in this pale, like, cream color. This fabric is a little more translucent, so you can see that seam I was talking about more clearly. You can see how low it is. Since this fabric is more sheer, feels a little slippery, but you can see really, like, all the details of this underwear. You can see where the seam starts and where the seam ends, like on the butt. I feel like sleeping on your back, this still might not be the best coverage. I haven't leaked through this pair yet. My only complaint is that since the fabric is really slippery, your sweatpants will just, like, fall down. You know, there's nothing for your pants to grip. All in all, I'm finding that my biggest wish is to just add more of this liner, like even at the thighs, you know, all around here, because you're prone to bleeding out and spilling through all these creases and stuff. So if they could just, like, make a shorts pair of underwear, that would be pretty cool. According to their size chart, I am a small, but I'm finding the leg line and elastic a little bit tight. It's kind of like, you know, pinching and squeezing my skin a little bit, digging in a little bit. I could just go up a size, or maybe it's just meant to be super secure. It is generally unflattering on me, on my shape, but I guess nobody's really going to be seeing it because it's going to be under my clothes, so not sure how to wear this and make it look flattering, but I don't think I should rate it in terms of how flattering it is. It is underwear after all. Next is the Ella midi brief. I like this because it is meant for heavy flow, but it doesn't look like heavy granny panties. It doesn't look like you're wearing a diaper. But remember how I was just complaining that I wish they made a pair that was, like, short, you know, something that actually comes down the thigh a little bit? That is because I am leaking at the seams, right at the thighs. People complain about this pattern. They say that this print and this pattern is cheesy, but I think they do it to camouflage any leaks. Like, look, I'm bleeding right here at the thigh crease. It's not super obvious because of all these stripies. I guess that's one good thing about having these crazy patterns. It camouflages stains. But like I said, something needs to be done about that liner, that seam on the inside. I got another Ella mid-brief. It's just in a different color. I got this cute, like, floral pattern. Same comments, same things to say about it. I want more of that seam, more of that extra liner, the fabric that actually catches the blood, so we'll just speed through this one. My fifth and final pair was another Alice bikini, the same as the first pair I showed you. Instead of blue, it's this blue marbled print. I did not leak through this one. I think it's because I wore this pair on one of the last days of my period when I was tapering off, so I did have a more moderate flow, true to moderate flow. So same thing. This is great. Again, I just want more of that layer, that extra layer that's meant to catch the blood. I want more of it. I want it higher. I want it wider so that I don't leak through the seams. Despite complaining about the leaks and despite complaining about the fabric, like how it kind of digs into my skin a little bit, like, you know, here on the leg line, kind of squeezes my butt cheeks a little bit. Despite all that, the convenience really does outweigh the cons. You know, like, I would still be leaking a little bit if I were just wearing a tampon. I would still be leaking a little bit if I were just wearing a pad. The fact that this is underwear that stays on me and it doesn't bunch up and get all crinkly and crunchy like a plasticky pad does kind of makes it worth it, and I am willing to put up with a tiny little bit of leakage just for the convenience and comfort of these. But there are a few things that I want to mention and keep in mind before I go ahead and place another order, so let me talk about that. Turns out they do make a shorts pair, the Emily Shorty. It is meant for a heavy flow. I don't know if that special little layer of fabric that catches the blood actually extends down the thighs the way the rest of the fabric does, but I'm going to buy it and I'm going to test it out and I'm going to see if that solves the thigh crease leakage problem. Since my last purchase, they did add a fourth absorbency level. They now have Super, which definitely seems to be more my speed because with endometriosis, that does involve heavy bleeding, a heavy flow, passing clots, and I seem to be leaking through the moderate and heavy pairs, so it might be worth it for me to try the super absorbency pairs. The only downside is that they are not as cute. There's no, like, cute, lacy, fun styles. The colors are just kind of boring solids. There's no cute patterns. I know that shouldn't make a difference, but what can I say? I want to have a cute, fun pattern to make me feel better while I'm going through one of the most miserable weeks of the month. I do also think it's worth mentioning that the inside of these underwears are black. Now, that might be a good thing for most of you because you don't want to be putting on a pair of underwear that has old brown blood stains. But for people like me with reproductive disorders, I actually monitor my blood. My period blood is a good indicator of what my body is going through, what my hormones are going through. I need to be able to see the color and consistency of my blood. I know that might be a little bit gross, but for some people, they do need to kind of see what their blood is doing, so it's really hard to see that in this kind of underwear. And last but not least, I know this is such a nitpicky thing to be complaining about. They sometimes advertise prints that they are not selling anymore. When I saw this cute little, like, palm leaf print, that made me want to buy this underwear. I was like, wow, that's a really cute color and a really cute print, and they don't sell this anymore, yet they still advertise it on their site and in their ads. So, like, come on, guys. Get your shit together. So if this video was of any help, of any value to you at all, if it informed your decision and you're thinking of maybe buying a pair, consider using my link. I'm not a brand ambassador. I don't even think I have a real account with Joyja. They just emailed me and they were like, share this link with your friends and you'll get a little bit of a discount. It actually looks like you will get a discount too, 10%, if you use the link. So if I'm going to keep buying pairs and keep making reviews on different styles, different levels of absorbency, if I'm going to keep being the guinea pig and keep making reviews on YouTube, wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't hurt if I got like a little bit of a discount so I could just keep buying them and keep talking about them. So thank you for considering and thank you for watching, and I hope your period does not suck. Take care.